Welcome to the 2019 Gooseberry Hollow Garden Tour. I'm going to throw the link up for the 2018 because there's some things that we did in 18 that we didn't repeat in 19 because it was a mistake in 18. Yep, if you can, hopefully someone can learn from what we did wrong, and you can see some of the things we did right. Anyway, this was a year later. First thing you notice, no herbs. Yeah, they didn't work up here last year, not at all. So we replaced them with some decorative flowers. Got fuchsias, marigolds, geraniums, some wild grasses, and there's something else, and I can't remember the name of it. I should have asked Annette. Anyway, they just were on the banisters. Also did some more decorative flowers down here. Had an alpine columbine here, just a beautiful flower, nice pollinator. Our shade bed, which we had arugula, kale, spinach, green onion, and our mint bed on both sides of the ramp there. Produces a lot of mint. I can harvest that about every 2 weeks. We did cucumbers, and they were delicious. Now, gonna stop it right here. This was from 18. This is the bed we laid out near the hydrangea, and we actually had that dug out, and I had planted some parsleys and some coriander there. And that's what we kept there in 18. However, because we had no place for the herbs, we made an herb bed. So I'll just do a quick rundown of what was in the bed. From the top, we put some French thyme here in the corner. Because it was the closest to the drain, I didn't expect that would go so well. Here we had some tricolor sage. We had some chervil. We had some curly leaf parsley. Again, have this planted in other places as well. We had French and English thymes. We had some Vietnamese cilantro and then arugula. And we had some dill, and that was going off at this point. It was just starting to flower. This would have been early July. And some flat leaf parsley. Had this in a number of places. Here we had Mexican tarragon, which is an awesome tarragon, very similar to French tarragon, but a little more robust, grows a lot better. This is anise, because we just seem to like licorice for some reason. This was supposed to be a rosemary bed, but a lemon basil got in the way. And here we have some regular sage. This had actually been harvested the day before this video was shot. And here we have some French tarragon. We had sweet basil, Genovese basil, and a purple amethyst basil. And this is pink chintz thyme. Not an herb to eat, actually. This was planted here so I could transplant it. Next up, we're gonna tackle the grape trellis. We're gonna start off with our black satin blackberry bush. Then we're going to move on to our hyssop, then our Sugar Lady Ann bush peas. They were awesome. We had some beans planted along the wire line, Monte Cristo, Monte Gusto, and Carmenac. Okay, here's our St. Croix grapevine. This replaced the Pinot Noir that didn't make it last year. Nova Scotia climate, little rough on the Pinot. Here's our Concord grape. It had a little bit of a rough go. The stalk actually bent during the winter, and I tied it back up, and it's managed to come back, although it struggled for a little bit. There's an extra little shoot coming to the back there. I may train that up. We'll see. Now, scattered throughout, we put some geraniums in pots. Here is our Oscar blackberry bush. And our oregano forest. Oh, we had a blast with this. There is Italian, Greek, and golden oregano here. We harvest from this constantly. It is literally a bush of oregano goodness. This was our Frontenac Noir. It actually produced grapes in 2020. We probably got about 3 pounds of grapes out of this thing. And we had another rosemary in this corner. More Sugar Lady Ann bush peas in this corner. Another hyssop. And, of course, another black satin blackberry bush. And the clover has just filled in nicely all the way along. We got some cucamelons going here. They were so delicious. Moving along to the raised beds, we've got our Roma tomatoes planted here in the area covered by straw. They had a hard time taking off this year. It was just something about 19. Tomatoes wasn't their year. We also planted a bunch of peppers. We've got some poblanos, cayennes, and jalapenos here. And of course, the climbing peas on the lattice. Do believe these were purple peas this year. All right, we're over into the other bed. Some more tomato action. And that's the rosemary from the herb bed that it should have been a lemon basil. Another hyssop in here, and some carrots. Haven't really started to come up yet. So this was our greens bed. We put white and green kohlrabi in here. There were golden beets, striped chioggia beets. There were green onions, some multiplier onions. And we did 3/4 monoculture in rows and 1/4 in a broadcast spread. This is our pear tree, one of the 3 companion beds we've planted with trees. This is a 5-in-1, has Bartlett, Red Bartlett, Anjou, Comiche, and Flemish Beauty pears on it. Planted around its base, we have some borage, and you'll see the beautiful little blue flowers on those, absolutely gorgeous. Also had green onions in here. They're planted around. They haven't started to come up yet. There is garlic here. You can see some of the garlic stalks popping up already. And we put a little lavender, and this was white lavender. Lovage. That's a really nice celery-flavored leaf. Awesome for cooking. So next up, we have our good friend, the stone fruit tree. Now this one, again, 5-in-1. It has Stella cherries, Lapin cherries, Puget Sound apricots, frost peaches, and Italian plums. Yummy. Underneath, surrounding it, on the outer ring are parsleys. We alternating between curly leaf and flat leaf. We've got dill, sweet marjoram, rosemary, some catnip, lupins, and marigolds. All right, so here we have the last of the companion trees, the apple tree, or the mom tree as we call it. It's got Braeburn, Jonah Gold, Fuji, Gala, and Granny Smith apples. Planted around it, we have some chives, both regular and garlic. Got some dill next to it to the right. We've got German chamomile. We've actually harvested this a bunch of times by this point in the year. We've got some coriander with some cilantro leaves. We got some basil right there. And just on the other side of that, we've got ourselves some garlic. And in here, we've got a lupin, marigolds, nasturtiums, and some yarrow. Next up, we've got our red imperial raspberry bush. That's a late harvest raspberry, usually around the end of August, September. Got our gooseberry bush, and oh my God, we love our gooseberry bush. It's the only thing that was in the yard when we moved in that's still there, and it's still producing gooseberries. We got our Boyne raspberry bush. It's a little small here, but this is our biggest producer right now. So we grew some sweet potatoes in 2019. Put a little plastic overlay, some sand, some depressions, essentially lots of watering, and this turned out to be a phenomenal crop. We actually started our own slips, and actually last year in 2020, we sold slips to the Halifax Seed Company. And this is the potato tower. We actually tried a different way so we wouldn't have much of a physical footprint for the potatoes. And this was just a half tower, and I gotta tell you, worked really well, except for the fact that I overseeded the tower a little bit. Worked out much better in 2020. You look in, you can actually see the marigold we put in there for some nematodes. There we go. There's the marigold. And this is our dwarf Juliet cherry tree. And lastly, we've got our squash and cucumber beds just running along the back of the fence. We've got one on one side of the stone fruit tree, and on the other side of the stone fruit tree is the other half of what I like to lovingly refer to as the pickle bed. Now, we've got a lot of other stuff lying around, loose buckets and stuff like that, but this is my favorite crop. We planted 2 greyhounds, a white and brindle, and a rust-colored fawn.
Look at you guys, it's hot. Look at you're hating life, aren't you, G? Oh, you're such a good boy, Jerome. Oh, you lie down. Oh, you're gonna get up and come see me, are you? Or you're gonna say, screw it, it's too hot, I'm going to the shade. There you go. That's a smart old puppy. Yeah, I'm not lying in the heat if I don't have to. And you, Rusty, you love the heat, don't you? Well, I guess you're enjoying the modeling effect of that shade. Yeah. You guys want to go inside? Yeah, look at that. I guess it was hot. All right, let's go inside, guys.